that's cool. Let me just make sure you can hear me. Good. I'll turn that off to silent. That's always a positive. Stick that on there. Good evening, Liz. I hope you are well this evening and doing well. I'm a little early, but no surprise there. No surprise there at all. So I've no idea how many people will be watching us this evening, but because I was fairly late advertising the fact that I was going to do this, and it's a Saturday evening, so that's always a good thing. So I've had to move my cameras around a little bit to get this rather large canvas in to shot. Oh dear, and I've got strings everywhere, so it might look a bit far away. And have you found your missing snaps? Well, that's always a positive, isn't it? Good evening, Sheila. I've had to move my camera about so to get this in, because I have a rather large canvas here. It is, let me see, it's 11 3/4 by 16.5 inches, so it's a whopping great big canvas. Good evening, Julie. But we're going to have some fun. And the reason I've chosen such a big canvas is because of my MDF house, which is one of the Madhatters houses from a while ago. I think it might be called an art house, because it's almost 12 inches in height. Ow, she says. Wasn't clever poking that into here. So so it needed a big base. You could just use it as a piece on its own, and maybe just pop it onto a display piece, or an easel to demonstrate it. But I wanted it to be part of a bigger piece, and hence the size of the canvas. Good evening, Wendy. Good evening, Joan. Hello, Jan. So this is the piece that I'm going to be using. Wendy, I don't know if you might want to put a link up to it. And then I'm using a paper collection called Trick or Treat. And having got a nice layout, we're going to dismantle it all. There we are. Because why set a nice layout and then think that you can just sort of leave it as it is? There we are. So the papers I am using are from Trick or Treat by Alchemy of Art, which is my current go-to fave brand, in case anyone hasn't realised. And I did quite a lot of fussy cutting, and I'm calling it the whole thing Trick or Treat, just because it felt like the sensible thing to do. There we are. So let's just off-end all of these pieces. Good evening, Jill. I hope you're well. And then let's see if we can dismantle the plastic off here. We might still be a little bit early. I don't know. I can't see the time. Yeah, it's not telling me the time, so I can't tell you what it is. But I'm assuming it must be reasonably okay. Hi, Sarah. I trust you're well. You wrangle that out of there. I've got a busy few days ahead of me. I'm away for a few days. You know, I've had to put both my main light and my, thank you, Julie, and my craft light on because it is so dark. Let me shuffle that art up over the way. So we're going to do some little bit of layering and a little bit of texture and a little bit of painting. and a little bit of spraying, she says, having left her spray paints over on the other side of the room, but hey ho, but that's okay, we can grab them when we want to. She says, getting that stuff everywhere. So I've got another one of those. So I've just got some modelling paste and good evening, Anna. I trust you well. So I've got a well-loved and fairly abused stencil here, and I've chosen this because it sort of works with a Halloweeny sentiment, I felt. So that's why I've chosen this. So it's a Stamperia stencil. I just thought that it might be nice. I could have picked something different, but I just thought this one would work. Some of this will get covered up, so that's okay. This is the headache, isn't it? Always of adding stenciling when you... So left to myself and not on a life, I would do this in stages rather than doing it all in one go, but given we're on a live, we'll just do it as it is. There we are. It's always a bit of a headache, she says. That's going to be good. I'd quite like to get some text in, but I might actually add that later on, because I think otherwise I'm going to have a mess. So that can go, as Mr. Minnie says, down to ground floor level 1, and we'll just give this a goodly wipe so we don't cream cracker that. Hi Sarah. It's definitely got very dark, Jonah. Are your hens pets? Do they lay for you? Are they good at keeping eggs on the table, or are they purely there for you to have fun? It's a good idea, isn't it? There we are. I think there are still some lives going on in other groups, so I suspect more people might come over and join us later on as that live finishes. But it's, as I say, I know it's impossible for everyone to always do things. So that can go over there. So now, this is the MDF that I'm choosing to work with, and it comes with all of these pieces. So there we are. So let's just dismantle these. Oh, that's very good. That's really good. So let me think about which order I'm going to do things. I'm going to start out with... No, we're going to start out with... this is Grey Allegro. We're not going to be doing lots of fancy painting today. Well, that's the plan anyway, but quite how it ends up is another, of course, always a mute point, because plans can change quite happily. Got a whole selection of really manky brushes. Let's choose one that's halfway decent. There we are. So we're going to, and we will be adding some texture onto this, but we're going to build it up in layers as we go. There we are. And I don't need to be too terribly careful at this point, because because I'm adding on anyway. That piece isn't going to be though, so let's just cover that. There we are. And I've got a collections of greys. I felt all black was going to be too harsh for the slightly quirky, slightly fun, brighter colour elements that I've got that the paper collections come with, but we're still going to make it into a relatively nighttime smoky, I don't know, just into a quirky house really, that I think will work with the theme of where I'm heading. So that will work as an undercoat. I'm going to add So this is anthracite, which is a slightly darker grey. I'm just going to add some shading around. And there we are, and as ever I'm mixing the colours on my piece. I might need to add a little bit more of the paler grey. So I'm just building up my colours, my texture, my details. There we are. I'm going to add some stenciling with some stone paste anyway. There we are. Let's just brush this in a little bit more, see if we can make it a little less obvious where the transitions are. There we are. Cool. So there we are. Let's take that. So this is the roof piece that comes with it, and I want the roof to be a bit darker, so that can go onto here. There we are. So I hope everyone is well and you've had a good Saturday, no matter what you've been doing. In spite of the fact that I think the weather for most of the UK has been pretty horrible. So there we are. So that ultimately will go onto there. We're going to add a little bit more texture onto these, and let's just so we might have to do some drying of some pieces later on. But there we are. Hi Alison, welcome. Welcome. There we are. Hopefully we can add that from there, and that can go into there. Now then, let us do a little bit of a mop wipe up on what that's moderately criminal. Yeah, we do want to get rid of that. There we are. Because otherwise we're going to have stuff every which way, and that's always never good, is it? There we are. So let's just have that little. So I love these, anything that's house related. I think it's such a good image, isn't it? And it allows us to do lots of different things. So whilst those are drying, let's just take our windows and there we are, and I'm going to do these in black. There we are. Let's just pick a different one, and then we might add some, we will add some colours later on, but there we are. And I don't mind that the area underneath them is going to look like it's dark. I might just grab a bit of paper to tuck behind those actually, so that it doesn't look, I'm sure I can find some paper from somewhere. There we are. Well, I know I can. I've got plenty of it lurking around the place. So there we are. So these are the little windows. This, as I say, this kit comes with all of these pieces, so it makes life easy. My daughter is much better. She's back at work today, so that's always positive. Having had a bout of chest pain, which is never good. There we are. I'm going to have mucky sticky fingers, aren't I, at the end of all of this? But hey ho, such is life. There we are. Cool. So let's just do that. Let's grab that. Let's see if I can find a scrap of paper rather than a whole big piece of paper. I don't really wish to start a new. Oh. A new sheet, but hey, well, maybe we will. Maybe we will. I just need something to put behind those windows. So let's just see what we can do that will work. That will work, won't it, as a sort of spooky window? So let's just grab there we are. And we can chop those. I should have thought big new stamp area. Yeah, I like the new stamp area very much indeed. It's rather lovely, and I don't think I can. Guess who was playing with glitter earlier on? Guess who's now getting glitter everywhere? Here we are. So let's just chop that a bit. Chop that down a little bit because it's too big. There we are. We're going to have some dark windows because why not? Why not? Let's see how big a mess we can manage to make from this lot, because it's guaranteed I'll make a mess at some point with all of these. I do like the new stamp area, I have to say, very much indeed. So let's just go a little bit round there. So I'm just using, this is just a PVA glue, ladies. It's nothing very fancy. I don't want bright lights behind, but I do want something behind my window. So there we are. Might need to take a craft knife to those later on, but that's also okay. We've got one of them lurking. Easier to take a craft knife and chop off than to try and add on. Good evening, Jan. Thank you for joining us this evening. Well, from the sounds of my roof, it sounds like the heavens have decided to stop chucking it down. So yeah, which is always a blessing, isn't it, really? There we are. Good evening, Angela. How are your beautiful pugs getting on? I trust that they're behaving and that they're well and haven't required any visits to the vet recently. There we are. There we are. Snoozing. Very good. Very good. There we are. So those can sit and dry. Those can sit and dry, and then I can do a little bit of trimming when they are dry. Right, that can go there. That can go there. This is called How to Make a Mess. I'm sure this is going to be called How to Make a Mess, but there we are. So that we don't need on there. So this is another Stamperia stencil, and this is just some stone paste, and I'm rather hoping it's going to look a bit like grouting. I don't need to have it every which way, so let's just have some bits. There we are. So this is a texture paste, and I've deliberately chosen this stencil for my brickwork because I didn't want to do bricks, but I wanted to give the effect of bricks, if that sort of makes sense. So, and I just thought that that was then going to look like I might have got some grouting on. I'm hoping fairly soon, but maybe Wendy can answer that one. I haven't heard a date yet, but I do know that Wendy is currently busy designing some new products now then. So that was Alison. The house is an MDF kit from Madhatters. Alongside making lots of dimensional storage houses, Wendy has some art houses and some house plaques that build up in layers with doors, windows and separate roof components. And I just think it's, you know, sometimes nice to use something that's that bit different. And I wanted a very dominant, prominent focal point for this project, but one that I could customise to make with the theme that I wanted. There we are. There's. She says wanting a roll of kitchen wipes because it's more friendly, isn't it, than using masses and masses of. See, my stencils really aren't very well cared for. I do apologise to everyone, but there we are. Good. 1, 2. Let's us come back now to our canvas while that lot dry. You see, you start to run out of room, don't you? It's all good, or not, as the case may be. I can see what's going to happen in a minute. I'm going to end up with that black paint every which way. So let's just deal with that whilst the going is good, because otherwise we'll be in a pickle. Now then, I'm sorry ladies, but my texture paste is going to need my modelling paste on here is 14th at 1. Oh, that's a good show time, I think, Wendy. Very good. That's lovely. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Hello, Mas. Welcome. Welcome. Are you going to give the ladies any clues as to what to expect, Wendy, or is that remaining top secret for now? It's difficult, isn't it? It's always difficult. Oh, yeah. So the problem with you, I have got some texture paste on here. I know it might look a bit white on here, but I just need to give it a little bit of a dry before I can colour the background. And I'm sort of thinking I might want to add a little bit more, I might not. Okie dokie. You can't blame me for trying, Wendy. You can't blame me for trying. But the 14th isn't so long away, is it, ladies? So you're not going to have very long to wait before Wendy's fabulous new designs, because I'm sure they will be fabulous. I'm sure they will. So one of the headaches, of course, with force drying things like your texture paste and your modelling paste is that you surface dry them, and rather than them being dry from the bottom up. And the other thing is that when you heat them, they have a habit of bubbling a bit, but so you just need to be aware. It won't matter because I'm wanting a textured background anyway for this, so it doesn't matter, but looks like it might be getting there. So when I take the heat gun off these, I can and just wait a little bit. I can see that the paste becomes shiny again, which tells me that there's water and moisture coming back up to the surface, and so it's, although it might be surface dry, it's not properly dry. So but that's cool. And I could go on and add more texture to this, but I'm not going to. I think I'm going to do a manara without adding other things. So let's get that off there. Right, now then, let us do some strategic moving of stuff about, because otherwise we might end up with more than just a little bit of a pickle lurking. Right, bear with, ladies, bear with. Because these are things that you don't see me using very often. So let's go with it. So these are Stamperia aqua colours, so water based, and they're a long time since I've used them. Some of them are chalky, and no doubt some of these will be completely blocked up, but hey ho, that's just fine. It's not going to stay that greeny colour, so that is Aquamarina, which might just be in the new collection that's come out. This is Azzurro. There we are. And this is Graphite, which which we're clearly going to have to, oh, she says, having got paint sprays over everything, which we're going to then have to mix in with a brush, but that's okay. So we're just going to add some of this. Now I love this this graphite colour because it allows me to mix, and we can carry on adding to our heart's content, but it's going to give me a mix. They are lovely, and they're permanent once they're dry, so again it makes life easy, but it does help with your colour blending and mixing stuff together. And I can add more. Oh, excuse me. I can't remember quite how far down my imagery came, but we'll just cover a bigger area than we need, and then we know that we're safe, and that will allow me to have and the modelling paste, you can see from Pentart, acts almost as a resist. So there we are. So a quick, simple, easy background. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let us just do a little bit of sorting out, because we have stuff every which way, and we have spray every which way, which is what happens when we use sprays. There we are. Let's just give that a little bit of a wipe. There we are. Put those all safely out of harm's way, because I know what will happen. I shall get more of that every which way I can. Yeah, I have to say that so the Stamperia sprays don't seem to be too big a problem. I think it's more the ones that have chalk in them that are a bigger problem. Good evening, Emma. Thank you for joining us. I think you're very busy with your own designs and your own ranges and your own making, but it's lovely for you to join me this evening. We're doing a Halloweeny sort of piece, night sky sort of thing. I just need to get this dry, and if I just mop up all of this, I shall end up with very faded out colour. I didn't want a black sky, I just want an interesting sky. So that's where we're heading for. We could add some stars and things. Grab a fence if we wanted to, but I think we might just keep it relatively straightforward tonight. We've got a big area here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think the last time you and I met, I was in the studio, to be fair. Well, I think you've got creative license now to do what you want for you, haven't you? Rather than necessarily what anyone else wants you to do. Let's have a little bit of dribble going down. Let's just place those bits. Have a bit more into it. The problem is I can't add anything onto the top of here. Well, that's ultimately, Emma, the most important thing, isn't it? Is that you're happy. There is nothing worse, I think, than doing something and resenting every minute of what you're doing because you're not enjoying it. I've got papers and paper pieces I'm going to add onto this, and so I really do need this background now to be dry before I can really add on to things. Might just get it heated up. It's beginning to dry. So the nice thing about these colours is that they mix and they merge, and the modelling paste acts as a resist rather than so you get beautiful texture. So I like it very much as an effect. So I'm enjoying life. I've got much less DT work to do, giving me much more creative freedom, and much needed given that my poor husband's been very sick in hospital. So actually, although he is now back home and recovering, so I've got more time. And actually, what that more time means is I can spend longer on my projects. So you'll see less projects from me. I think Wendy's MDF is lovely. It's just so usable, and it's amazing quality. And yeah, Wendy, I agree. I think Emma's freeform megs that she's been doing are phenomenal, and I have loved them too. It's really nice to see. It's nice to see how things evolve and how our crafting skills evolve. Right, I'm just going to pop that down. It can continue to dry a little bit whilst we go back to that house and do a little bit of messing about, because we've added those but we don't need all of that on there. So let's just, so these are the windows that come with the house. There we are. Let's just get rid of that bit. I'll add some fluid gloss into those once they're on the model, and I don't need to lift it up, but not before, so they'll look like they're glazed. Good evening, Deirdre. I trust you are well. I trust you are very well. I don't know what the weather has been like in Ireland. I suspect it's been every bit as bad as it's over here, by which I mean full of rain and things. There we are. So cool. So that can go onto there, and then we're going to add a little bit of dry brushing anyway. So let's just take some of our best paintbrush in the world, isn't it? Our finger, best paintbrush in the world. And I'm using ordinary glue because we've got a flat onto flat surface. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. So this is why I didn't mind so much about the messy painting at the top, because I knew that I was going to be adding over here. Now I will need a wet wipe, because otherwise we'll be here. Good evening, Betty. I trust that you are well. Let's just, say, nature's first paintbrush, isn't it? So let's just pop that one onto there, and then we'll pop this one. Other half is recovering, my darling. Thank you. He's better than he was. I wouldn't say that the world is perfect, but hey ho, that's just fine, isn't it? Before that sticks down, I know actually I need to get you underneath there. There we are. Let's just put that back into place. So there we are. You can go into there, and then hopefully by the time we get that, reasonably central, I hope. She says famous last words. Famous last words. There we are. We'll have a house there. So I'm hoping that we've got sort of, hi Caroline. We're going to have a, and I've deliberately popped that in. The house is slightly shaped, so I can't get them both on the same level, but that's also fun. I'm going for sort of, I don't know whether I'm going to come over in November. My daughter's barred me from travelling. She says that every time I go away, my loving husband ends up poorly sick, and so she's not impressed at the idea. So we'll see how he's getting on. We will see how he's going on. Now I do have the advantage of sort of knowing where I'm going with this mate. So let us just pick up. So this is a character from, and I could edge everything, but actually I'm not going to. So she's going to go into there, because thank you. I think it will be. I think it will be. I think it will work out fine. So we have our witch there. There we are. Right. That's a good starting point. And we need you underneath there. But I'm just going to give it a little bit of a curl so it sits half under and half over. There we are. That will work. 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 Right. That's just. I had out a whole mountain of pens a minute. Oh, there we are. Okay. So. That's not quite dry enough for that, I think, yet. Let's just see. Let's just see if we can. There we are. So we're adding the little details. Just stick you back down there. There we are. Excuse me while I've gone very quiet. I'm conscious that I've gone very quiet. just, you know, it's amazing what just a little bit of white pen will do to something. Just does add quite a lot of extra detail and interest to your piece, so worth the effort. If this is just an acrylic pen, you could use a Posca quite happily, but do let your paint dry. Good evening, Sarah. Otherwise you'll regret it. There we are. That can go on there, and let us find a reasonably naft brush. Why am I wanting a naft brush, I hear you say? Because I'm just wanting to catch the edge. So a naft brush that's barely got any white paint on it is just going to let me do that. And it's a very completely, as I say, abused brush, and I know it's abused, and that's the whole joy of it, is that it is abused, because that's going to allow me to just add little bits of detail onto these. Scruff it up a little bit, make it look less pristine. And as I say, I've got barely any paint on here, but it's just going to break up the texture for me. There we are. Cool. We might come back and add some more, but we might add some other details. So that can go over there. I never got gel pens to work. That's why I've resorted to not quite dry, to acrylic pens rather than gel pens. I admire people who can seem to manage to get them working, but they just don't for me. Now I had to change, as I say, my camera setup to get this in, so I happen to know that actually I need it to be way back here for you to be able to see. So you can see that one of my bugbears with sprays is that you often lose the intensity of your colours, and you can see, I think, from here that the Stamperia aqua colours, mixed media aqua colours, have kept their intensity. Not quite dry. There's no point in me trying to glue things into place when I've got a wet surface. It just doesn't work. And we're almost there, to be fair. We're just a little bit sticky over there. So I've taken some pieces from, this is from Gold Coast. I might need to trim a little bit off the end, but that's okay. We'll just fold that over. This is from Gold Autumn. So and I've literally just torn them to give myself a little bit of just to add a little bit of interest as much as anything else. Right. And I think I have it that way round. That way round, that way round. Excellent. So that looks like a good start to proceedings. We've managed to get that so it looks right. So this is a gold autumn. This is from Alchemy of Art, which is stocked in the UK or gettable by request if the company's still got it, by the lovely Sarah Wright, who is watching this evening. So we'll just pop that onto there. I can always do a bit of trimming. There we are. see, it's really difficult, isn't it? Look at the back of this piece of paper that I'm now going to merrily, you know, ignore. As I say, I'm deliberately not minding having the white edges. There we are. I need to trim some of that. So I'm still getting glitter off everything. So Deirdre, if you're still watching, this is just part of the piece that I had left from the retreat. There we are. So that should hopefully be reasonably straight. Hey, might need to come down just a little bit. There we are. There. Cool. That will work, won't it? Always thinks that will work. Right, before I pop these in, we are going to do a little bit of laying out of things, because the eagle-eyed will have known that I had it all laid out before I went live. And for me, this is now about the layering of all of the pieces. There we are. That can go up there. That can go in there. My cat. Where's the girl from? The girl is from the Alchemy of Art Papers, my darling. There we are. So, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? I always set these projects out. I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I want and where it's going to go. And of course, by the time I'm actually making it on the live, I've then promptly changed my mind, because that's just what happens. So all I'm doing is using my papers to collage and build, to build a scene. There we are. Now then, where did I have you? That is a goodly question. There we are. And the witch's stick is going to be used to hold the broom. So we now have some bits and pieces still left over. So I have a feeling I might have tucked him into there. That's it. And I've got some other bits to add. I think I want that one on top of there, and that one on top of there, and I think we might substitute that house for the hat. No, we're not going to substitute the house for the hat, we're going to pop that there. There we are. Okay. There we are. So we've got Hocus Pocus, Wondrous Witch, and then we can go either Mischievous or Happy Halloween. There we are. So that can go tucked, so it's just catching. That can sit there, and I think we might go like that. No, we're going to just leave that floating actually. I just think I prefer it to be floating. And I know that I have the clock like that. So there we are. Let's just pop that over there a bit. I think it's going to sit better over there. There we are. There. That's better. Okay. Cool. Now, do we think we can get this lot in the same places? Well, let's go for it, shall we? So this is the way I normally make my my pieces up. I have a play, and then I work out what I want where, and then I build from there. So yes, is it a bit of a pain? Yeah, possibly it is, but it just allows me to mess about a little bit. And I don't want to have, surprisingly for me, and I often will have lots and lots and lots of layers of texture, but we're not necessarily going to have that tonight. Some, yes. So I don't want a completely flat ghoul. Thank you very much, Sheila. Thanking you. I've managed to get some of my spray on my ghoul, but hey ho, that won't matter, will it? There we are. So I want him to look like he's floating, which means I need to pop him over there a little bit further, and then I'm going to need to layer my house, because houses are not shaped, are they? So let us just grab from my friendly junk stash a pile of MDF, of a grey board, because this again is a useful trick when you're adding dimensional stuff. So I'm going to need a piece there, and this just saves you glue, which is also sort of quite important, because the glue's more expensive than the grey board, I think. There we are. And we can even manage to put a third piece onto there, so that will anchor that into there, and then my house can be flat on there, which is also cool. Okay, that can go over there, and I think I might need just something extra in there. There we are. I'm going to pop that there, that little wedge, and then that can go onto there. And I don't particularly I need some more of my MDF underneath here. Have I finished all of my clearing out? Wow! Yes and no is the answer to that question. Yes, I have. Every room in the house has been decluttered. 40 bin bags have gone to the rubbish tip. Yep, 40 of them. Which is always good, I think. There we are. Where's that piece? And the joy of these particular pieces is that they can go either which way. There we are. Let me just shuffle you over a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. I don't want you up any higher, so you can go onto there. There we are. The house needs to be straight, but that does not. Okie dokie. And that means I can then, I think, stick that piece underneath there. Excellent. I knew because I had everything used. There we are. And then we can have our cat half and half. And that one I am going to just do that. So there we are. And there. Right, excellent. So let us now put some of this lot into place. So this is just my method for adding pieces when I'm wanting to add lots of layers into things. Because for me this just makes life easy. And I can slide out and slide in where I want to, and of course that's not stuck down yet, so let's just yeah, I'm going to pop it right up there. Okay, so that's that one. So that one now needs a little bit of texture, so you can have a bit of glue gel. And this piece needs to go in first. So there we are. We can shuffle that onto there, because we don't mind that. Then that one can go onto there. There we are. Right, let's just take some more of our grey board. So good. There we are. It is Sunday tomorrow. It's very definitely Sunday tomorrow. And there is my crow. Do I want you that way? Facing in, facing out. I'm going to go facing in, because for me it's more comfortable to face into things. But there we are. I'll top you over there. You're reasonably steady. So I'll tuck the bottle underneath there, and we're going to stick a bottle. The joy of the glue gel is I can lift up as I want to. And we're going to pop that one onto there. There we are. Right. Okay. There we are. Let's just get these tucked into here. Where's my two little bats gone? Oh, that's what I've done with them. That's alright, because I just didn't want to lose my two little bats. Yeah, that can go as a big squodge onto there. Those guys, they are rather cute, I have to say. I think that one of the things I like, Jan, about the Alchemy of Art papers is the fussy cut pads, because they'll take means that you can have a basic set of papers, but actually they can, because of the way they work, you can change the theme completely to call, you know, depending on the iconography that you use. So let me just put the lid on that. This is all a bit floaty. So I'm just going to grab my favourite grounding mechanism from the boxes over here. We all know that I have a half cave that is ridiculously full. So let's go. Let's go big and small. And then we're going to add some splatters because we can. So there we are. So at the moment these are all a bit floating in the middle of thin air. Which is fine. Not quite the look I'm currently really wanting. So let me just... So this is literally just a PVA glue. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy. But I'm wanting to not have these creatures quite so floating in the air. I am going to deliberately come across there and also across there. Because it's going to look better if they are not just floating. Just take it off the whip. There we are. Okay. Okay, it's called How to Use a Lot of Glue. I could use gel medium, but actually it's going to be just easier to do this. This piece, Caroline, is a 12 by 16 inch canvas. And the house is MDF. Now not all of these are going to stick, and that is fine. Thank you. Well, they're definitely not clean tonight, because in amongst everything else, I'm away for the week. I'm away tomorrow. I'm going to do a workshop with Mr. Finch, which will be lovely. which is sewing, but I also have a Stamperia live, a Pentart live to do on, these are just a different size, on Tuesday, and I'm away until Monday night. So I knew that if I didn't get it prepped ahead of times, I would be in serious trouble. So let us just grab a little bit of sparkle. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? I'm in imminent danger of having to buy some more of this. So this is just going to stick on some of the glitter, some of the bits. Just add a little bit of sparkle. Sparkle, I hear you say. That's not something you normally hear out of my mouth. And this will stick on, she says, on some of these pieces where there's glue. Right. Right. And this is when you pray that nothing then slides off. There we are. Not bad. Not bad at all. And as that's contaminated, it can go in the bin. So there we are. We now have a Halloween sparkle. And why not? Why not, indeed? So there we are. We have our Halloween hocus posters, which, call it what you want, a mixed media piece with lots of different products, lots of different things that you don't normally see me using. I'm next live on Tuesday on the Pentart page. Thank you, Wendy. Tomorrow I will, no, probably not tomorrow, because I'm going to be out with the lovely Liz Wheeler at Mr. Finch's workshop, so we're setting off at an early hour. So at some point I will photograph it and put a picture up in the group, but for now I hope that has been helpful, that you've enjoyed watching me make a mess, get very mucky, sticky, icky hands, and I wish you all a safe and healthy weekend, and hope that I'll see you online at some point next week. Bye! There we are. Sorry, I just need to swap to the systems. There we are.